Welcome back to Uncle Gobb and the Dread Shed. If you hear some strange noises, it's because I'm in my shed and there's a thunder and lightning storm outside. And I'm a bit full of dread. So we'll get on with the story. Chapter 19. Back at school. Malcolm talking with Cracker Snacker in the playground after school. And a surprise. It's okay, it's a good one. Listen, Cracker Snacker, it's all beginning to make sense. I've a funny feeling, said Malcolm, all this stuff going on is something to do with Uncle Gobb. Yes, said Cracker Snacker, and not Billy with the blue hat. Exactly, said Malcolm, rubbing the side of his nose. What Malcolm didn't realise was at that moment his nose had turned into Aladdin's lamp. And as he rubbed his nose, it summoned up a genie. The genie appeared in a puff of smoke and stood in front of Malcolm and Cracker Snacker and said, I am the genie of the magic lamp. I got tired of being in that Aladdin story year after year after year, so I thought things might be a bit more lively if I moved out. You can't imagine how sick I am of being in those plays and pantomimes where I jump up and everyone claps. Yeah. So here I am, the genie of Malcolm's magic nose. I am at your service. Your wish is my command. Cracker Snacker laughed. This is amazing, Ponky Boy. Like really amazing, like really, really amazing. Malcolm looked at the genie and said, Wow, you came out of my nose. The genie raised his hands. No, there's no need to get all hero worshipy and silly about it. I'm just an ordinary genie doing my job. What can I do for you? And look, there he is. Me, said Cracker Snacker. The genie looked at him. I don't want to sound nasty, young man, but just cast your mind back a moment and ask yourself whose nose was being rubbed in the moment before I appeared in a puff of smoke. Ponky Boys, said Cracker Snacker. Yes, said the genie. So look, I can hold you on the line if you have another request, but in the meantime, I'm going back to the original caller. Malcolm was playing with the genie's smoke, running his hands through it as if it was some kind of water. The genie moved closer. Malcolm looked up. Oh yes, my wish is your command. What do I wish for? Humble. Cracker Snacker may well have been peaky, but he was also pretty sharp. Not as sharp as a very sharp knife, but still pretty sharp. He said, What were you saying about Uncle Gobb, eh? And that? What was I saying? Said Malcolm. The stuff about how you thought it was all to do with him. Yes. Well, said Cracker Snacker, we could get your genie, him, to find out more stuff. This stuff is getting confusing, said the genie. I need more details than that. Malcolm slowly explained what he had noticed about the worksheets and the charts. What I need to know is whether the Gobb education person is the same as Uncle Gobb, or not, he said. Ah, said the genie. Oh, I should say, he interrupted himself, that I have to say like that, because it's kind of a genie groove that I have to gig to. Genies always do But never mind that, he went on. Remember, if you have the knowledge, it may lead you to do terrible and dangerous things. Sounds brill, said Cracker Snacker. I love terrible and dangerous. Me too, said Malcolm uncertainly. But he didn't want Cracker Snacker to think that he was uncertain, so he said it again, really fiercely. As fierce as a Norse god like Thor or a Greek demon like Medusa. Me too! Oh yes, me too! That's pretty fierce. And he opened his eyes wide, pushed out his mouth, and did a wiggly line thing with his finger. Well, said the genie, I will investigate this whole Gobb story, put a girdle around the earth in 40 minutes or 40 seconds, I forget which, and come back to you in a thrice. Thrice? Said Crackersnacker. What sort of car is a thrice? I know not of what you speak, said the genie. Then he leaned forward and said in a hushed voice, Every now and then, boys, I like talking in my old book voice. You may have no idea what I'm talking about when I do that, but wow, it's fun. Okay, so I've got my instructions, I'll get on with it. Gobb, name, details, going forward. And the genie disappeared. Malcolm turned to Crackersnacker. What did he mean, going forward? Crackersnacker looked wise. Peaky, but wise with it. Going forward is what all important people say nowadays, Malk. Everybody's going forward. What if they want to go back? Said Malcolm. Well, they go back, going forward, don't they? Said Crackersnacker. Brill, said Malcolm. They sat saying nothing for a while, thinking about going forward, going back, going sideways, going down, going round and round, going crazy, and just going. I'm just wondering, said Crackersnacker, do we have any idea how long the genie is going to take before he comes back with information that is going to help us be terrible and dangerous? No, said Malcolm. This whole Genie Watson is new to me, but I'm wondering if he's going to help us get rid of Uncle Gobb. Ah, that's where your bamboozling stuff comes in, said Crackersnacker. Is it? Said Malcolm. So the two went on sitting there. You can make this next bit last as long or as short as you like, because that's the end of the chapter. Chapter 20. The Wait. For as long as you like. Chapter 21. The genie comes back after the wait. There was a puff of smoke. Puff! And the genie appeared before Malcolm and Crackersnacker. My wish is your command, he called out to them. I think you've done that bit, said Malcolm. I've done the wish, it turned into command, you went off, and now you're back to tell us what's going on. Well, that's a very good point, Malk, said Crackersnacker. The genie glanced at a bit of paper he was carrying. I'm so sorry, I must have turned back the pages of the script. I'll do that arrival again. No need to bother, said Crackersnacker. Right, said the genie. Then what I have found out is that Uncle Gobb is the evil mastermind behind everything. He's like a farmer in charge of sheep, or a greengrocer in charge of tomatoes, or the man in Mike's fish bar in charge of chips. Everything, said Malcolm. What? Even that time I got told off for spitting out chewing gum on the bus on the school trip? Yes, said the genie. Even that time when Mum bought some apples from Binner Market and one of them was a bit brown inside? Yes, said the genie. Just then, Uncle Gobb turned up. You're not the only ones who can summon up genies, he shouted at the boys. Watch this. Uncle Gobb started rubbing his face. Yes, his shiny forehead, cheeks and chin. As he did it, he muttered, Italy, Spitaly, Spain was hungry. Spain ate turkey dipped in grease. Ah, thought Malcolm, that's the start of the polishing. This is all starting to make sense. Then, puff. I am the immensely powerful, all-seeing, wrinkly old genie with glasses. Whatever you do, I know what you're doing, and even if I don't know, I have ways of finding out. I am the amazing Dr. Roop-de-Doop, Doop-de-Doop. My command is my command. Some of this made sense to Malcolm and Crackersnacker, and some of it didn't. For a start, how come when Malcolm had watched Uncle Gobb rub his face in the bathroom, a genie had not appeared? Then he figured it out. It was because in the bathroom, Uncle Gobb had not said, Italy, Spitaly, Spain was hungry, Spain ate turkey dipped in grease. Uncle Gobb was looking pretty pleased with himself. Hi, Uncle Gobb, he said to himself. You're looking good. I, said Malcolm's genie, have all the information on this person. I know what he is up to. I know what he is doing going forward. Psst, said Malcolm. There's that going forward thing again. I know, said Cracker Snacker. I noticed that too. But Dr. Doop wasn't going to hang about listening to this nonsense, and instead he jumped at Malcolm's genie. In his hands were two metal plugs, like the ones you stick into a computer, and before anyone could stop him, he stuck these into Malcolm's genie's head. Look, there he is. And now, cackled the Dr. Roop, I will get to know what you're thinking, as these plugs are connected to my international network of networks. In a split second, I will receive a text informing me of your innermost thoughts and plans. Everyone waited for the text. They waited a long time. In the time they waited, everyone imagined what the genie of Malcolm's nose might be thinking. Here are some of the things they thought. They deserve a special chapter. Chapter 22. What they imagined that the genie of Malcolm's nose might be thinking. 1. He's thinking about 1001 Nights. That marvellous, amazing set of stories including Ali Baba and Aladdin. Yeah, that's good. 2. He's thinking about Crumbles, a particularly delicious chocolate bar which is full of crumbly chocolate. 3. He's thinking about thinking. 4. He's thinking about us. 5. No number 5. 6. He's thinking about French people. Oh, sorry, he's thinking that French people don't call watermelon a kind of melon. And 7. Thank you for giving us a special new chapter. We'll stop there.